Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Baseball Talk Radio Show. I'm Gary Mack. Rich Baxter is on hiatus, so Rich, we're waiting for you to come back real soon and enjoy your time off. Before we get to our big interview today, let's just take a few moments to send out some congratulations and wrap up the 2023 baseball season. Congratulations to the Texas Rangers. They did a great job in the World Series. It looked like it was going to be a long, exciting series after game 2, but Texas just, to their credit, they grabbed the bull by the horns and really dominated the rest of the way. So congratulations to them. And congratulations to the Arizona Diamondbacks. They are the NL pennant winners, and they did a fine job and knocked off some great competition to get to that World Series. They just ran into a buzzsaw and a team of destiny with the Texas Rangers. So maybe next year it'll be Arizona's turn. But congratulations to Texas, and congratulations go out to the new managers, Carlos Mendoza and Stephen Vogt. Let's see who else. Bob Melvin moves from the Padres to the Giants. He gets that job. Joe Espinoza gets the Houston job. Still a couple of jobs out there, and if I miss any, excuse me. But that's some congratulations to some of the winners out there, and it's been a crazy off season. Had a little bit with the COVID shot there, little reaction. So that's why there was a delay in getting this show out. But let me tell you about today's show. I had the distinct honor of being invited on to Baseball and BBQ, not as a guest, but as like a guest host. And we interviewed Kelly Stinnett, a former major league catcher and now a collegiate coach, and hopefully soon to be a major league coach and maybe even a manager. But Kelly was fascinating, had lots of insight. So I'm going to play the whole interview. So I'm going to turn it over to my good friend Jeff Cohen and Len Aberman as they lead us into the show. So enjoy the interview, and I'll be back after the interview.
In our ever-growing roster of former New York Mets catchers, we have with us a 14-year major leaguer who played on 8 teams, most notably with the Mets and the Diamondbacks from 1994 through 2007. He attended Lordson High School in Oklahoma, where he led in both baseball and football, and he quarterbacked the team to an undefeated record and a state championship in 1987. Attended Seminole Junior College in Oklahoma and leading all junior college players with 30 home runs and 124 RBIs. He was the National Junior College Player of the Year and first-team All-American. Drafted by the then Cleveland Indians and selected in the 1993 Rule 5 draft by the Mets, made his major league debut with the Mets on April 5th, 1994. Today, he's the head coach for the Cowlitz Black Bears of the West Coast League, a collegiate summer baseball league comprising the team from the Western U.S. and Canada. And he's also the head coach for Park University Gilbert Buccaneers in Arizona. Welcome to Baseball and BBQ, Kelly Stinnett.
Welcome, Kelly.
Hey, thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
And we also have with us the host of the Baseball Talk Radio Show, Gary Mack. Thanks, Gary, for joining us.
Hi, guys. How are you all doing?
Good to have you,
Hi,
Gary.
Kelly. How are you?
I'm doing great, man. Just baseball 24/7 out here in Arizona.
Oh, great. I want to. My first question to you, Kelly, and this is a very coincidental. In 1987, you played football with a player who would become your teammate on the 1995 Mets, and that's Butch Heskey. How about that?
It's pretty neat. Butch and I go a long ways back, from all the way to Little League, all the way till getting to play a couple years in the big leagues together. So it was pretty neat.
So I'm gonna let Gary. I was shocked by Jeff. We usually let our guest co-host lead off, but I guess Jeff is just raring to go. So Gary, the microphone is yours.
Well, thank you so much. And Kelly, as an old catcher myself, not quite to any level. I have I love catchers, and my favorite players are all catchers. But I guess my question is, with your coaching now and everything, and the evolution of the game, catching has even changed so much from when I played 100 years ago. What are your thoughts on the evolution of the game itself, the equipment, as well as just the you know, you don't see guys taking off masks on plays at home plate no more, and sometimes foul pops they don't even take it off. So and the throws to second seem to be more erratic every year. What's your thoughts on the whole catching process?
Well, I mean, to start with the gear, I mean, I was always taught Gary Tuck was my mentor with he was with me when I first came with the Indians, and he was the one that kind of groomed Posada and Veritek when he was with the Yankees and Red Sox. So, you know, a lot of stuff I learned was from him because he was the best. He was the best catch instructor back in the day, and that's why Girardi brought him around. All those guys kept bringing him around because he was just a catching bullpen rat. Just made catchers better. And as far as the plays the plate, he was the one that, I mean, I would get in serious trouble if I took my mask off. Plays the plate, just keep your mask on. Now, with the evolution of the new hockey style mask, I really enjoyed it just because it was the mask was closer and I could see a little bit better. I think we're seeing some results of maybe a little bit more concussions because it's not as padded. But I know the new Nike gear. I got a son that catches a little bit in my leagues, and he's got the Nike gear. And the Nike gear is like it's like wearing a hat. It's like feather light. It's really cool. You know, you don't sweat on it, evaporates quick. So the evolution of I'm kind of jealous. I think I had the old horse high chest protector, you know, back that Wilson used to make. But that's what I like, you know, because I could block a ball and it stayed right in front of me. But to get on to the, you know, the one knee stuff, I'm not a big fan of. I think this is my personal feeling with the bigger bases now, stolen bases are becoming more prevalent in the game. I think it's going to bring old guys like me that know how to receive, catch, and throw to teach the guys, because you got these quote unquote catching gurus now that, you know, they're trying to steal strikes. But I can tell you what, I can go down the road here about 10 miles. I'll knock on Ted Barrett's door and like, hey, what are you doing? He goes, if it's a strike, I'm going to call a strike. I'm not determining whether the catcher brings the ball back in the zone or not. So that's the one thing is I don't think these guys have a relationship with umpires knowing that these guys are going to call the ball in the strike zone. You're not going to steal strikes. And if you do, that's just because either they missed it. You know, if it was a ball and they call a strike, they just missed it. So I don't think the catchers are stealing strike. And the one thing we teach is, I teach, you know, and he's an old Clevellandian back in the day. Louis Isaacs he helped me teach how to receive the ball to help me in my throwing. Because the way you catch the ball, every pitch translates into how you're going to throw the ball when guys are stealing. So I really worked on that. And I think that's why, I mean, there was like 4 or 5 years where I was on the tops of throwing guys out just because I received the ball better. And trust me, it took a long time to get there. It didn't happen overnight, but and that's the one thing now is we had a lot of older guys, I emphasize older, that were there every day for us. We could pick the brains. We did something with them every day, you know, from like Gary Tux to Louis Isaacs to, you know, even Tony Pena when I was with the Yankees. He was first base coach, but we did something every day between Posada and myself and Tony that, you know, it just made us better. And the one knee stuff, I'm okay with nobody on, but with guys on, I mean, it's a little bit different game now. So I think we're going to see another evolution back into the guys that can catch and throw a little bit and receive the ball.
Yeah,
sorry, Gary.
I just want, I mean, this one knee thing now that everybody's down, they want to get that low strike. And I don't, you know, we used to be, like you said, used to be in a crouch and just get down. So you'd be in a half of a ready throwing position. But I don't know, I guess I'm old school.
There's 2 ways to catch that low strike, you know, and what most of the guys are teaching now is to try to get your thumb underneath it Well, that defeats the purpose once we start getting into our throwing mechanics or throwing situation. Anytime my glove's going to go away from my body and somebody's stealing, my mechanics are going to be messed up from there.
Right.
Now, the way we teach, the way I teach, it's a Gary Tuck way, Louis Isaacs, is to catch the ball in a funnel. It's okay to catch a little pitch, bring it up, but bring it to your chest. Don't take it out. So, you know, I think that's the difference between now and then. And I see a lot of college coaches teaching that too. And it just, man, I just got to bite my tongue and just walk away because, you know, if I'm not running the program, I don't want it ran that way. But
that's
hey,
right.
You do it. Okay, you do it. I'm going to give me like 4 or 5 guys that can run, and we're going to steal bases off of you, left and right. We got to get on base, but yeah, we're going to steal bases off of you.
Right.
Kelly, you were known as your nickname was the Grinder. Tell us who gave you that and how that come to be. And
well, good old Glenn Sherlock was their bullpen coach. First 3 years with the D-backs. You know, he was kind of right-hand man of Buck for all these years. I know he was with him in New York the last few years. You know, once again, you know, I don't mean to shortchange him. He was one of the guys too that was instrumental in my development and my, you know, being able to play for, you know, 14 years, you know, at the big league level. He's the one that gave me the nickname, you know, just grind it out every day. And it kind of stuck, and everywhere I went, it seemed to follow. And then I had club teams here, and we were called the Grinders. So it's a pretty cool name.
It's a compliment.
Yeah,
you know,
I mean, I've had a lot of nicknames over the years, and that's probably the best one that I could share with you guys. So,
and you know, we just had on recently Zach Ford, who wrote a book, and it details a bunch of players from the different decades and their stories about their initial call up to the major leagues, you know, how it happened, their feelings, whatever. So give us a little bit about when you first got called up to the majors, what it was like, how it happened, how you felt.
Well, I think it's a little bit more in a unique situation where, you know, they don't have as much nowadays, the Rule 5 draft. So I was drafted by the Mets with the Rule 5. So when the big league can't, knowing that, well, I either got to make the ball club or they're going to send me back to the Indians, which, you know, I feel it was a no lose because I like the Indians, really great organization. And then you got the Mets kind of up and coming. They're just kind of, you know, Todd Hundley was there, and they signed the old Braves catcher Greg Olson to come in to be the backup, and they brought me in. And man, I killed it that spring, had a great spring, and then, you know, it's getting crunch time, gets down towards the end of spring, and Dallas Green calls me in the office, and you know, I've known Dallas a little bit because his son played at my junior college in Oklahoma, so we've known each other for a little bit, kind of off and on, and you know, he just kind of looks at me, and you know, he's playing with me a little bit, and shakes his head, and he goes, you know, son, you better find a place to live in New York. Congratulations, you made the team. And man, it was just like, you know, just my heart dropped, and I was just so excited and couldn't wait to call everybody. And you know, it's my gain is obviously somebody else's loss. You know, learning some stuff from Greg Olson in spring training. You know, he's with the Braves all those years, and you know, playing all those playoffs. So, you know, that's kind of been my, you know, I've beat out a lot of old backup catchers over the years. So, you know, but catchers are a tight knit bunch too. We always, you know, we hang out in the locker room, and we're always, you know, whether it's lunch or dinner, we're always doing something together.
Great. You know, I was going to ask that same question, but it stole it from me. You were called up in 1994. You got to the Mets, and they had a pretty. I mean, it was a 500 a year, something like that. But they had some pretty good pitchers who you caught. I mean, we're looking at Brett Saberhagen, Dwight Gooden. Those were pretty. John Franco, pretty darn good pitchers, aren't they?
Well, I mean, that's the year '94 we went on strike. That's what kind of shortened the season. But then Sabes had less walks than, you know, had more wins than walks that year, and it was just, that's what I tell everybody. I've caught Randy Johnson and Schilling and you know, Glavine and Pedro. Didn't catch Pedro when he had the good stuff, but I caught Pedro. But you know, Sabes had the best stuff, hands down, of anybody ever caught in my life. You know, it's just, great velocity, the pinpoint control, great breaking ball, and it was, the games are quick. You put your glove there and he hits it.
I have one follow-up there. I see on that roster was Eric Hillman, and I went to Met Fantasy Camp a couple of years ago, and Eric Hillman was there, and this guy had to be the funniest guy down there, and he must have been a crack up in the clubhouse as well.
Well, I mean, you had, Hillman and Franco, and Sage was pretty good, and Doc had his moments, kept everybody lively. Pete Harnish was there. I think he may have been there in '95. He may be one of the funniest guys ever. You'll get 4 or 5 on each squad. You probably go down the roster and say, man, that's just, you played a game to hang out with guys like that for the most part. You obviously love to play it, but and it's what some people ask me now is, what do you miss the most? And we're just hanging out with the guys in the clubhouse. I don't miss squatting. I don't miss hitting. I don't miss working out. And that's why I like now, because I've got some really good coaches around me. I got an ex big leaguer, Bobby Chenard, my pitching coach here at the little Indian high school in Arizona. Does a great job, and it's just we're telling stories today. All the young guys want to know certain things. We was talking about winter ball today. I played in Venezuela 1 year and Dominican for 2, and how it was back then. So it's it's fun telling those stories, the ones that I can remember. So
Go ahead, Gary.
Well, it was just, that 94 team and 95 team, it wasn't an awful team. It was a pretty good team. You had guys like Rico Bronya that could field, David Segui could really field. And of course, Todd Hundley was ahead of you in the catching rotation. And who was one of the most memorable player on those teams that you remember that you played with?
Brett Butler was on the team, so I learned a lot about how kind of picked his brain about the base running, what he did as base running and bunting. He kind of took me under his wing. Even Mike Maddox, he just won a World Series as pitching coach of the Rangers, was on the team.
Right.
He would take some of the rookies out for for a stake here and there. And believe it or not, Bobby Bowe was a great teammate. Just kind of the calming factor, and the confidence, the quiet confidence that he always had. So it was, all the teams I played in New York were just amazing with just obviously with the talent that was on the squads. Didn't always play like probably should have, but wouldn't trade it in for anything else.
Kelly, when you played, the catchers were not protected like they are now. So, but catchers are tough. But you played at a time, and I don't want to give you this player because then I don't want to lead the witness. But there's a guy on third base. You're standing there with the ball. The guy's barreling towards you. When you played, who was the one guy you just did not want to have barreling towards you
Bo
at
Jackson.
any cost?
Bo Jackson. So Bo was probably 1A, and then Frank Thomas was 1B. Seeing those guys come around third base, just massive, fast, just mountain men just coming around there. But I was fortunate enough where, I think Bo did it once, but the ball was so late that he had to slide. So I thank God on that. There was a bang play with Frank. I think it was with the Brewers. But once again, he decided to just give himself up and slide. So I was very, very fortunate where nobody tanked me when I was in the big leagues. And kind of my motto was kind of like a goal line stand. I said, the low man wins. So I was always trying to get as low as I could as the ball's coming in. So they had nothing to hit. And I'm not tall anyway. I'm 5'10" on a good day and 235 pounds when I played. So I wasn't like I was a slim pickings around the plate. So I just made sure I got as low as I could.
Do you like now the way catchers are protected, or do you say just go back to the old way and let's have a football tackle at home plate?
Well, I think the whole game's changed where everybody's protected, not just the catchers. You got the middle guys are protected where you can't make contact with them. It'd be a shame to have a really Muto miss time because somebody trucked him. One of the best catchers in baseball nowadays, or you have, I mean, not that 94 spring training, I took Chipper out. Chipper was in spring training. I took him out. He tore his ACL and he was done for a year. And it wasn't anything dirty. It was just, I went in hard, caught his knee just right, and he was done for the year. So, to be able to protect guys like that, I'm all for. Guys are in it to make money and to entertain. And if those guys, if our best guys aren't on the field, then the fans are going to lose a little bit.
You hit 65 home runs in your career. The first one on May 5th of 1994 against Alan Watson. I'm sure you remember that. Did you do any pimping around the around the field?
Bat flip.
Hit it and run as fast as you can to get the home plate and get your shin guards and chest protector back on and get ready to go catch the next inning. So no, there was no pimping back in the day for me.
No. And I hate that part of the game today. I mean, that is just, I know I get, people get excited, but some of the routines these guys have is just ridiculous. So just go like you've done it before. Exactly.
Well, especially if you are down. Like if you're losing 10-0 and a guy hits a 1-run homer, I mean, just get around the bases and get back to the game. Come on.
You're down by 30 and you score a touchdown and you're gonna celebrate. Hey, just get the ball back.
Yeah. That's the crazy part of sports, same thing in basketball. That's what turned me off really to basketball, because I'm watching a game, the guy's down by 30 points and he dunks on a center and he's pounding his chest. Well, you're still down by 28 points. I mean, come on, and these bat flips and stuff. But I guess I'm really old school.
Hey, the person was watching Barry Sanders, believe it or not, back in the day, I went on a recruiting trip to Oklahoma State and he was there. I was, like I said, all fit quarterback, and I didn't have very many big offers. I had so many high offers, but he was there. But being able to meet him in person way back when, and then watching him on TV, score a touchdown, just hands it to the umpire, the referee, and gets ready for the next series.
That's it.
So Kelly, when you are playing ball, now we've had a lot of players on, and sometimes I get to ask them this. So we know playing career doesn't last forever. And so at some point, you start thinking about what you're going to do after baseball. And as Jeff said in his intro, you're making quite a career out of coaching and, teaching the young players how to do it right. When do you start thinking about that? And what do you think was your impetus to go into coaching?
Well, having 4 boys helps too. You want them to learn the proper way. Want to have hands-on, knowing that, they're going to have an opportunity to go play at the next level. I think all 3 of my older sons, all 3 of my older sons played college baseball. 2 of them just got a degree. And like I said, the one is playing a little bit of independent pro ball right now. The third one is helping me coach at the university. He got his degree, and I got a 4th one, which I got to go pick up a football practice here in about an hour and a half. So, it's having a hands-on with your sons and giving them opportunity to, do what you do what I did. I don't push them in any way. Hey, do what you want to, whether you want to be marching band, you want to be in our class. We never pushed them one way, and obviously they just picked it up because they got a garage full of bats and balls all the time. So it was easy for them to do that. But, I wanted to give back to the youth. I wasn't always the guy. Always had to work for what I got. Was never a superstar, not a Hall of Famer, usually never the number 1 guy on a team, but always had to work harder than everybody else to at least earn a spot and to get where I got, and I wanted to say, hey, I work with a lot of kids that got cut from high school baseball or got cut from a junior high team. And, what makes me proud is they work with me for an X amount of time and they make the squad the next year, or they get a college scholarship, in a couple of years down the road. So that was always my MO for doing what I did as far as club baseball and working with my kids. That game has seriously changed too, as well as, club baseball and any kind of travel sports in general is just so watered down, and it's a money maker. It's a money grab. It's tough to watch sometimes. And I've kind of backed off of that a little bit and, just concentrating on my youngest right now, a freshman in high school, playing football. He's a really good baseball player. So I want to make sure that he has the best training for me and whoever else I can bring in, get him where he wants to be. But you know, my MO is always giving back to the community, giving back to the youth sports around here. And you know, it's a little more tougher nowadays. You know, and I've been trying to get on Tony Clark and those guys, the Players Association. Hey, we need to get a little bit more grasp on the youth side of things, because it's just it's out of hand right now. I mean, it's a money grab for everybody.
Yeah. You now you're a coach. You coach for two teams. Like I said, the Black Bears and Gilbert. What's they called? The Gilbert
Park University Buccaneers.
Yeah, Buccaneers. There you go. You have two boys on that team, right? There you go.
Yeah,
Alex and Aaron, right?
Alex is playing pro ball, and Aaron just graduated, so
great.
They're off on their own now. Like I said, Aaron's the one that's helping me, and Alex is playing a little pro ball. And yeah, it was nice coaching them the last couple of years. We were actually halfway decent. We just didn't have the arms on the bump. So anybody listening, and we got some guys that can throw 86 to 92, we can take you in a heartbeat.
Now, do they play with the bigger bases now? They adopt to the major league rules with the bigger bases and the pitch clock and all that stuff?
We're not there at the bigger bases. We've got a pitch clock. We've got the 15 and 22nd pitch rule. We play we're NAIA program, but we play NCAA rules. So it's speed up rules. Yeah, we got to get on the bump, get ready. You got, you know, we practice it today. You got 120 seconds in between innings to get in and out. Yeah, it's everything's the same except for the bases.
Now there's a difference between coaching and managing, and you had some pretty good managers in Dallas Green, Phil Garner, Buck, who's trying to still get a job today, Bob Melvin, who's still coaching today. You had two Hall of Famers, Joe Torre and Tony La Russa. And there's got to be a difference between what you do as a coach and what they did as a manager. But did you take any of what they taught you into your coaching style?
Oh yeah, we take a little bit of everybody. You know, I go back to my junior college days. I played for a guy named Lloyd Simmons. You know, he was at one time the winningest coach of all of college baseball, and we just played tons of baseball games in the fall and spring. You know, and it's try to take a little bit from him, like the work ethic of him in the mornings. You know, a little bit of the toughness from Dallas Green, Scrap Iron, Phil Garner, the organization that Buck brings into a program. Tony Pena was just fun. You know, he was he wanted to be your buddy. You know, and Bob Melvin was more of a laid back guy. So, you know, situations may say, hey, I got to bring out my Tony Pena today, or I got to bring out my Dallas Green today, or I'm going to bring up my Lloyd Simmons today. So, you know, every day I might have a different personality. Depends on the manager I played for. So it's pretty neat. Like I take a little bit of everything from all those guys.
Mm-hmm.
So you're a schizophrenic coach.
Exactly. Many faces and emotions.
Any ambitions to go further to a higher level, to minor league ball, Major League Baseball as a coach, or anything in that order?
I do. With my young guy being a freshman, I'd like to give him a couple more years so I don't have to travel. I mean, that's the biggest thing. You know, I played 17 years total, you know, and you're gone from February to October, and you know, it's rough on the family. You know, but with the three older boys almost out of the house and just a young one, I think he's ready to see me do something a little bit more higher level. You know, but right now I'm happy where I'm at. I should have a really, really good squad this year. I got a couple of draft eligible guys, you know, so we should have a good season if we keep them all eligible, get them in the classroom, all that good stuff. But yeah. I mean, I've been, you know, I actually talked to Mike Morgan, text him this morning. You know, I haven't had Craig Counsell's number in quite a while. I want to get a hold of him and congratulate him, since I live in Mesa, Arizona, and he's going to be in spring training, you know, 5 minutes down the road, see if I can reconnect, go hang out with them during spring training. So yeah, I mean, there are aspirations.
Kelly, as a coach, and you know, you don't hear about it as much. I mean, there's still, every once in a while the player gets suspended from the majors for PEDs, but and you of course played during a time when there may have been, you know, PEDs were out there, but you have these impressionable young players, right? and they look to you for advice. One, do you ever notice that players, how am I saying this? Do you ever see that maybe players might be using things, or do they talk to you about that? Or is there any, does that ever come up?
No, nowadays, I mean, every level's testing, so it's tough to
Oh,
get
they
away.
test at your level. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we test the NCAA test, you know,
Mhm.
obviously Major League Baseball and minor leagues test. You know, when I've joked about this a couple times last week. I mean, shoot, you know, if I would have done something like that, I'd probably had 40 more home runs because my warning track, balls that hit the warning track would have got another 10 to 20 feet, and we'd hit home runs. And I might not have been a college coach now. I might have been assigned a Todd Huntley deal or a Paulo Duca deal, and you know, we'll raise some horses somewhere. But hey, you know, I kept myself clean. I just, you know, try to work harder than the next guy, and you know, this is where I'm at, and I'm happy where I'm at.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Now just tell us about, you mentioned that what you're coaching in is, what is it? NI?
So it's in NEI. There's
NE.
205 institutions across the country.
Okay.
It's, you know, I think we had 3 guys drafted in 20 rounds this last year. It's probably equal to, or maybe actually a step above, D2, NCAA D2.
Mhm.
You know, I think we could take some lower level D1s on any given day. And then the summer job is the Calais Black Bears, the West Coast League, which is, it's a Major League Baseball affiliated league. It's one of few. It's probably a step below the Cape Cod. All my guys were basically D1 guys this last year. We made the playoffs. Really good group of kids this last year. Great ownership group. They're revamping the field that we play in. You know, we lost to Corvallis, which they play in Oregon State University's baseball facility. So it's a pretty good league. And
Yeah, you mentioned that
I do a little recruiting out there too, so that always helps.
You mentioned that you lived in Arizona area, Mesa, Arizona. I know Tempe is where the ASU baseball is, and that's one of the biggest schools for baseball. Willie Bloomquist, oh, I'm sure you know, is the coach there. Any interaction between your program and their program, just to talk, maybe have ideas going back and forth?
Yeah, no, I text Willie. So usually all the D1s, when Andy Stankiewicz was at Grand Canyon, and then you got Bloom at ASU, and then you got Chip down in U of A. Chip Hell, I played for Chip Hell in the minor leagues way back when. You know, I'll shoot them a message. Hey, you got any good guys that are willing? Because they'll cut some guys at break, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. They'll cut some guys at Christmas break, and they're going to want to play baseball somewhere. So I usually pick up, every couple of years, I'll pick up 1 or 2 guys from those guys. So it helps our program out.
Kelly, the philosophy with pitchers today, it seems to be that they go out and they throw at 100%. And in the older days, the guys used to, you know, pitch maybe 95%, 90%, hold a little bit in reserve for when they really needed it. And that's how they used to go 7-8 innings a game. Now that's all changed, and it seems like a general philosophy that if the guy can throw hard for 5 innings and then we take him out. What is your thoughts on that?
You know, I'm with bigger rosters. You got bigger bullpens now. You got a lot of money invested in these arms, so you really got to kind of monitor them. You know, I guess that, I don't know why the magic number seems to be 100. You know, everybody gets to be 100. Well, arms going to fall off. But you know, I caught Randy, and he threw 140 and 150 games, 50 innings or 50 pitches back-to-back games. I'm like, you know, and he did okay. But it's just another evolution of the baseball game. There's so much money involved in these guys. They kind of got to pamper them a little bit and make sure that, you know, they're getting their money, they getting their innings in. Not that they get a lot of innings, but their days. You know, if Scherzer's going to start, you want to see Scherzer out there for 5 or 6, you know, every 5th day. You know, same thing with DeGrom. I mean, obviously he's gone through 2 of them, two Tommy Johns. But you know, how fun is it to watch him go out there and pitch, you know, every 5th day, you know, throwing 100 and just dominating. So yeah, it's a little bit different. You know, you're not going to see the Nolan Ryans out there throwing 300 innings anymore. That's for sure. And I think I think we're going to barely get to probably 150. And I don't even know who threw the most innings this year. I think the D-backs guy did. I think he topped 200.
That Gallon?
Yes. Yeah. He topped 200, which, they're probably going to really monitor him in spring training and, really baby him next April and May, make sure he's not overused.
Ellie, do you have players that have had Tommy John surgery or who, while they're playing on your team, have needed it? Are you seeing that more?
I had Tommy John in 2004, and I came back and played another 2 years as a catcher.
Oh.
So I've came back. I got 2 guys that came from other programs that have Tommy John, and I just brought them in on, the ability that, hey, Tommy John's not a big deal. You get your rehab in. A lot of guys are throwing harder when they come out of Tommy John. They're more fit, so it's not like it's a bugaboo or anything or a red mark on you. You get your work in, you're able to throw in the next 9 months. You should be good to go.
It's like a tune-up.
Exactly. Yeah. It's a tire rotation, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And Kelly, you have I don't know exactly what it is, but I heard you have some quite a nice 1-loss record as a coach. You've what's your record in the years that you've been coaching the school?
Well, the last 2 years sucked, but we're getting out of there.
Oh, okay. So
my first 2 years we won 36 and 40 games, and then I took a year off because I switched jobs. I went from another school, Mesa, to a school in Gilbert.
Mm-hmm.
And then we started off hot, and then we had COVID. COVID year wasn't very good. Last year we lost 30 games, which, I don't have much hair anyway, but I'll probably lose the rest of it if I get close to this year. I already told the boys that. So, I've won 100 games, and this is my 5th year as a college coach. So, it's not bad. It's not where I want it to be. We want to average probably 38 wins a year for the next few years, and I'll be happy. Out of 50, we're allowed to play 50 games.
That's a pretty good record.
During a regular season, I'd be happy.
Not bad.
Going back to your major league, Russ, you must have had Russ Ortiz's number, because I see you hit up home runs 3 in a row off of him. 2 in one game, and then a week later he hit another one. So he must be saying, "No, I don't want to see Kelly Stinnett anymore at bat."
Yeah, Russ, I hit the first 2 home runs in back then. I think it was called Pac Bell, so the new stadium in San Francisco. So I had the first 2 home run games there, and they were both off of him. I don't know, for some reason I saw the ball well off of him. Him and Mike Hampton. So Mike Hampton, a little lefty, played for the Mets. Those guys they didn't want to see me, and that was 2 of many that. And then there's other guys on the other end where, Schilling like own me and Merker own me. And there's some guys that Kerry Wood, somebody brought up Kerry Wood's numbers against me the other day. I got 1 home run off of him, but like 11 strikeouts. So yeah, Russ was a good matchup.
Right. I mean, I've seen I'm looking at the players you played with, and they are at some roster. I mean, you played with Albert Pujols, Yadier Molina, Scott Rowland, Ken Griffey, Barry Larkin, Mike Mussino, Hall of Famer. Adam Wainwright's going to go in the Hall of Fame. You mentioned Randy Johnson and Mariano Rivera. Now, how was Mariano Rivera to catch? I mean, he obviously is the best of all time, but how was he to catch?
It was amazingly easy. I mean, it's one pitch, but it's a pitch that you can't simulate. You can't put a ball in a pitching machine and do what he does. It's 94 to 98 with just a little bit of a cut. He just kept the ball off the barrel, and he dominated all those years with one pitch. It's truly, truly amazing. But yeah, I mean, it was easy. The ball's going to start right, ball's going to start middle and it's going to go in, and he can make it start away and go to the outside, or he can start at middle and go in. So and it was funny to watch hitters would move off the plate or on the plate certain situations, and he would just see their feet move, and he would just move the pitch with their feet.
Kelly, if I gave you a choice, catching Randy Johnson for a whole game, where your hand at the end of the game is just going to be numb, or catching a knuckleball pitcher, who are you picking?
I'll take Randy any day. I've caught 3 knuckleballers, and they're not fun. Yeah, I when I was with the Reds, I caught Jared Fernandez in San Diego, old San Diego Stadium. I had 3 pass balls in 1 inning, and he had it dancing. He couldn't throw up for a strike, and it was just, I was on roller skates behind home plate, so it wasn't fun at all. Yeah, I caught Steve Sparks way back in the day, and then I caught Tom Candiotti in spring training, way back when the Indians were in Tucson with spring training. So that's the 3 guys I've caught. I'd rather catch Randy.
You have a special mitt when you're catching a knuckleballer, right?
We did. I had one, but it was, Wilson makes probably the best glove out there, and they're just tough to break in. But once you break them in, they're good. But I could never get it broken in. The ball just kept bouncing out. And Jared had a fast pitch softball glove, and it just I struggled with it. So it was not fun. I'm just glad, you don't want everybody to get sent down, but I'm kind of glad he got sent down.
Kelly, who was the guy when you were playing that when he came up to hit, you said, "Oh, I don't know what to call for this guy"?
The right-hander would be Gary Sheffield, lefty would be Larry Walker. Chef just so quick, and you just never could get anything by him. And he did, for as hard as he swung, he put the ball in play a lot, and it was a loud sound too. There was no soft contact ever with him. And then Larry Walker was just kind of a complete hitter. I played against Bonds too, but Bonds got a lot of calls his way. But having Larry just sprayed the ball around, and just smart guy. Not that anybody else is not, but he was always a tough out for me way back when.
Baseball is it's a tough business. You survived 14 years in it. You've been released a couple of times. You've been traded. I mean, how does it feel when they bring you and say, "Hey, you've been traded"? I know you've been traded to the Brewers and then to Philly from the Reds. How's those conversations go?
I mean, it's you just get like a Band-Aid, rip it off, and say, "Hey, here's where you're going." I mean, a couple of instances, I knew I was going to get traded when I was with the Reds, so just didn't know where. The one from the one in Milwaukee kind of caught me off guard with the Mets to Milwaukee, but you can't dwell on it. You got a job to do. There's going to be 6 to 8 other catchers in there trying to earn one of the 2 spots. So, and that's with all 30 teams. So you just got to, get your ass in gear and go get it done. Like I said, that's what my nickname is, just grind it out. I'm going to grind it out in the off season, try to be in the best shape I can, go earn a job during spring training.
When you were with the Reds, I mean, Ken Griffey Jr. was a teammate. That must have been the sweetest left-handed swing you ever saw. I mean, this guy had so much natural ability. Any thing you want to tell us about the great Ken Griffey Jr.?
Oh, just fun to watch. But what sucked was we got robbed of a lot of his time because he had two pulled hamstrings 2 of the 3 years I was there.
Yeah.
And I think the other time he broke something or wrist or something. And then, the treat was his dad was there. So watching those 2 interact, father and son, and I think that's what helped me. That's why I really wanted to be around my kids, is knowing, well, shoot, seniors there and juniors this good. Well, how can my kids if I'm around them as well? So that was special watching those 2 interact. But watching him go after ball in center field when he's healthy, and then watching his swings at home plate when he's healthy, yeah, that's special.
Mm-hmm.
Kelly, you talked about every year, you got to win a place on the team, and not every player is a Bryce Harper who gets a 13-year contract, no trade clause, and knows that he's going to be in a city. I was always curious when you, like, you're with one team, you get traded to another. It's not like you have time to look for a place to live, to pack up and move, and you have a week to get. How does that work? How do you are you living in a hotel? What about your family? I mean, take us behind the scenes. I'd love to hear what it's like.
Well, it's having a good support staff. The wife, she's the backbone of the family. She kind of took care of a lot of that. That was back in 95, 96. Now you have these services that came in. You contact them. Hey, I'm going to this city. I need a fully furnished 2-3 bedroom apartment. What do you got? So that really helped. And then here locally in Arizona, I had some buddies that were in the used car business. So whenever we need something shipped, we'd send it over there and they would ship it to the city we were at. And we just had to worry about getting there. Yeah, but I mean, it starts at home, you know, and that's, she did a great job of keeping everything on the home front, you know, buttoned down, raising the boys, you know, when I was always traveling. So that was always tough on the family. But, you know, those services, when they started to come in, that really helped a lot about finding places to live.
Yeah, that's interesting. I always wondered that because, you know, like when people come here and then like as free agents or something, and you hear, oh, they're looking in Westchester for homes, or they're looking on Long Island, or they're, you know, they have no idea what any place is. And you're, you know, again, they trade you, you got to get to that team, they need you, and it's not like you've got time to, you know, you might be paying rent on a couple of places at the same time because you got to get out of there. But I guess those services help.
The first 2 years in New York was a nightmare. 94, 95, finding a place to live. It was just, and it cost so much money. You know, rookie money back then was not the 750,000 you're getting a day. You're based on 109, you know, and they're wanting, you know, $5,000, $6,000 up front. You know, I was just lowly minor league guy before that. So that was tough. You know, it's changed a lot nowadays. I mean, the agents are more involved now in helping you with off the field stuff as well.
Yeah.
Kelly, we really appreciate your time. I have one last question, and I assume I know the question to this, the answer to this, but I assume you identify yourself as more as a Arizona Diamondback for all the teams that you played for. Now that you're living in Arizona and you've played the majority, you know, mostly games with the Arizona Diamondbacks with under Buck Showalter. Is that the case?
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, 3.5 years, and we made our home here. It's a special place. You know, we got to go check out the first game of the World Series. And got to go hang out. I guess the owners had a little pregame ceremony for either season ticket holders and ex-players. I got to see Jay Bell. You know, it was neat. Yeah, but yeah, I probably identify myself more as a D-back.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, my son actually worked for MLB and was in the press box for most of the games at the Diamondbacks. So you know, I know he's a Yankee fan, but he also likes the Diamondbacks and seeing to work there the whole season. Kelly, we really appreciate your time. And anything else you want to tell the people who watch you played? I mean, you were, you know, 14-year career is nothing to sneeze at.
No, just keep working hard. You know, I tell everybody, especially on the baseball side of it, play as long as you can until they take the jersey off your back. And I'm still in that situation. I get to put a jersey on. You know, I don't put it on practice, but you know, we're going to start up in January here. And like I told you earlier, if there's any pitchers out there throwing 86 to 92, we're going to hit you up. Come to Arizona. Nice. If you have a place to play, we're on, you know, 75 degrees outside. We're scrimmaging. You know, we go year round out here.
And Kelly, you've got a nice indoor training center in Mesa, Arizona, from what I saw.
I just recently sold that, so I've gotten out of that. It's
okay.
You know, I couldn't spend as much time down there being the college coach, so you know, I moved it to a family that redid it a little bit, and they're catering to the youth development. So it's still in good hands. But yeah, with me doing the college thing right now, that's my full-time gig.
All right. No. Gary, you got anything else for Kelly?
Good. I want to thank Kelly for coming on, and thank you guys for having me.
All right, Kelly, we appreciate it so much. And what you're doing you're doing it right. You know, you're teaching these kids, and you know, not everyone's going on to the major leagues, right? But you're teaching them right, and it's nice. It's admirable, and we really appreciate you coming on with us.
Yeah, and good luck for the upcoming season with the Buccaneers.
No, sounds great. I appreciate it, guys. And the last thing is go Bucks.
Go Bucks.
Go Bucks. Thank you, Kelly.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that interview. I really had a good time doing it with the guys. Again, many thanks to Jeff and Len of Baseball and Barbecue, and go check out their version when they release it, because they're going to have another guest on talking about barbecue. So you'll want to check that out as well. So when that comes out, please check that out. But hope you enjoyed our version of it. And the baseball season moves on. We're going to have a baseball winter meetings coming up in just a couple of weeks. Yeah, it's almost December already. Thanksgiving is around the corner, literally. And soon the winter meetings will be starting. And we just passed the baseball general managers meetings, and we'll see what groundwork was laid and what kind of deals happen in the winter meetings. Is an always exciting time, as well as not only deals but free agent signing too. Where will Otani go? Where will Cody Bellinger go? Will they stay with their teams now, or will they move? Lots of other questions, lots of guys being non-tendered these last few days, and some big names, some Joey Votto and Corbin Burns and a couple other guys. So it's going to be interesting to see what goes on as the rest of the offseason progresses through. So we're going to stay on top of it as best we can. And I will join you again the next time on another edition of the Baseball Talk Radio Show. So stay tuned.